Before him, I didn't know much about Vietnam. I didn't really even know exactly where it was on the map. But seeing his love for Vietnam made me want to know more. Xin chào các bạn. Min la Brooklyn Day. Hi everyone, my name's Brooklyn. In my video on American Independence Day, I talked about my view of love for one's country in Vietnam versus in America. I said that it's easy for me as an American to take my country and my freedom for granted because that price was paid so long ago. But Vietnamese people seem to appreciate their country and their freedom a lot more because it was achieved much more recently. I first started reflecting on all of this a couple years ago when Vũ and I were getting to know each other. He has always been a proud Vietnamese, even when he lived in America. He's proud whether people take him seriously or not. This is called patriotism or being patriotic, which just means a love or devotion to one's country. Growing up, I mostly saw patriotism in politics. In getting to know Vũ, though, I saw patriotism without the politics. Before him, I didn't know much about Vietnam. I didn't really even know exactly where it was on the map. But seeing his love for Vietnam made me want to know more. These past few weeks, I've seen patriotism displayed in a new way as the nation has been mourning the death of one of its great leaders, Uncle Chong. I hadn't heard of him until about 2 months ago when President Putin visited Hanoi. The news was on the TV at my home, and my family excitedly pointed out that Uncle Chong was there in the meetings with President Putin, but they did mention how tired he looked. As they talked about him, I heard about who he was and what he had done, the things he had achieved. In the short time after this, when he did pass away, my friends sent messages in group chats sharing the sad news. It was amazing to me how a nation can be so unified in the midst of this. At first, I was surprised that there was a whole week dedicated to the funeral of Uncle Chong. But as the week went on, it began to make more sense. Originally, we had planned to post a video that week, but later we decided not to, so as to dedicate time to mourning Uncle Chong. It didn't seem right to continue on with our week as normal. In the days after that, I saw a new side of my husband. I had only seen Vũ cry a handful of times, so I knew that it's a big deal when he does let out that emotion. But as he watched memorial videos for Uncle Chong, he wept. They were tears of mourning and of thankfulness. He explained to me that this man had given his whole life for his country, but didn't have great riches to show for it. He died with integrity. Even his wife had to sacrifice so much. Sometimes I don't like it when my husband has to work into the evening, but who knows how many hours this woman had to give up for the sake of their country. As a foreigner living in Vietnam, I'm trying to grasp the emotion of this country. I've been reflecting over my nation's history to see if anything can compare. Even in the last 50 years, though, there's nothing that quite compares. I guess my dad talks about when he was in primary school, He remembers vividly how President Reagan was shot but survived. And in my lifetime, a few former presidents have passed away, but I don't really remember that exact time, or I don't remember talking about it at all. It's a little different in America because our nation's top leaders can only serve a few terms. Vietnam is different, though. So, as Uncle Chong served his whole life, the nation grew in love for its leader. Politics are difficult. People have different opinions and often disagree with their leaders. At the end of the day, though, those people are human and their death deserves to be mourned. When a great political leader dies, you can tell a lot about who they were by how the people respond. These past few weeks have been incredibly telling. It's so easy to see that Uncle Chong was loved and will continue to be loved by the people of Vietnam.